And the third thing I believe is instrumental in success, not just in business, but in life, is delayed gratification. If you want to succeed overnight, or someone tells you, do this, and you're going to be successful in a week or 2 weeks or a year, and honestly, run away.
Salim Development Group.
Hi guys, thank you for tuning in for this week's podcast. I am your host, Tahir Salim, the CEO of Salim Development Group. Today I want to talk about my journey going from college or university all the way now to real estate development, business development, and other businesses. I came to the United States in 1977. I was 11 years old. I barely spoke English, and the schooling was so different over here than it was in Pakistan. I learned English very quickly. The teachers were very helpful. After graduating from high school, I entered college and San Jose State University. I did chemical engineering and also studied civil engineering. Well, my experience in college or the university was unbelievably helpful in business, real estate development, and professionalism. One thing I realized after I started businesses, going to university or college, how similar that is to having your own business. When you're in college and you're in university, you learn to do time management. So going through college was absolutely the best preparation I could have had to go into business. And that doesn't matter what type of business, whether that's real estate development, any type of business development, or doing car wraps, or you could do restaurants, car washes, any other business. So college was very helpful. So anyway, the schooling being extremely good place to learn the fundamentals, obviously you transition into a job. And the job I started was with City of Los Angeles Public Works Department. I stayed with them for 10 years until I transitioned into my own businesses or business development. 10 years with City of Los Angeles were extremely helpful. I learned so many different areas that helped me in business development. So one key thing was I wanted to do different types of projects ever since I was young. I always had interest in entrepreneurship. I always had interest in business. I always had interest in building things, building businesses, so on and so forth. However, when I graduated, I did not have the finances or the financial capability to go and do the projects. And to be honest, I don't think I would have been as good an entrepreneur as I became because 10 years of work experience was very helpful. For 10 years when I worked at the engineering department with Public Works, I was able to save some money, which I later on utilized to get into our projects. And one thing I got to emphasize is that a lot of times people give themselves tremendous credit when they come from humble backgrounds and they work hard, such as myself. But I absolutely give the greatest credit to two things far greater than I give to myself. First one is I give the credit to the Lord for giving me the opportunity to come to the United States and be in this country, for allowing me to go to a university that was very good school, and also bringing all the opportunities that he did in my way. So I'm very thankful to the Lord. You cannot plan everything yourself. The Lord's blessings not with you, you're not going to succeed. Second thing that was very instrumental were my parents. I was strapped for cash, and they absolutely helped me tremendous. There was one time in about 1990, 1991, I needed additional capital. My parents sold their home and gave me the final amount of money that was needed to finish the project. And I cannot be thankful enough. And I think anybody who tells you they made it on their own, they're lying to you. Nobody makes it on their own. You always have help. You may be the person who is leading your success. You may be the person who's asking for help, asking for guidance, asking for consult, but you're not going to be able to do everything. So be gracious, and I'm very thankful to God, and He gave me the understanding that you don't create everything yourself. And obviously, my family's been instrumental for me. Besides my parents, wife or ex-wife, she worked and she was helpful in doing whatever we achieved. Obviously, I was the one who was the forerunner in all these projects, and I'm the one who came up with the ideas, the extra hard work, but I just don't want to neglect other people who had some contribution towards our success. And what it allowed me to do, on the other hand, was my parents having done so much for me, and I've, as I already mentioned, other people contributed to my success as well. I never forgot my parents, my children. The companies that we have are basically between myself, my children who have joined me since they've gone past 18. I never forgot my parents' help in all these projects. That where did the initial success come from? It'd be very disingenuous if I did not mention them in our podcast. in the journey that I'm trying to enlighten. Anyway, my parents, my mom has since passed away, but my father, he's 89 years old, and he retired 19 years ago. And I've been very, very instrumental in him having a very productive, healthy life, and where he doesn't have to worry about finances. So what they bestowed upon me, I've been able to return many folds back to my parents. Towards the end of the journey of my 10 years with the city of Los Angeles, I wanted to transition to business. And 2 to 3 years before I even stopped working for City of LA, I started planning and I started looking into franchising. I started looking into various businesses, gas stations, car washes, all sorts of business. About 5 years, I evaluated over 50 different type of businesses. And in each business, so many different locations. So I did not jump into the business right away. I'd spent 4 or 5 years contemplating, analyzing, figuring out how much money is needed, how much money do I have, what's the deficiency, where's that going to be coming from? So I want to let people understand that if you want to succeed with Lord's blessings, you can succeed, but it doesn't mean you're going to succeed overnight or even within a year. It might take you 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. But if you succeed, you succeeded. It doesn't matter how long it took you. So the patience goes along with hard work. And that's something I learned working from City of LA. I'm glad that I did not have so much money right off the bat till somebody set up a business for me, because I wouldn't have learned the things while I was working that I learned had I not had a job. So when I did transition finally from my work to the restaurants or the business that I developed, it was such a unique experience. I felt like I was back in college where my time is my time again. I don't have a schedule. I worked 7 days a week for a while. When I opened my first restaurant myself, I closed for 45 days straight without taking a day off. And the person who was operating the restaurant along with myself was my brother-in-law. He also operated the restaurant for 45 days, but he was basically a manager, and I was a manager too, but he stayed as a manager, and I continued doing other projects as time went on. So let's fast forward 23 years of business and real estate development. What led me to my greatest failure and losing $300,000 was a project I did, Baba's Chicken. I did the Baba's Chicken in Bakersfield, and it was a complete flop and very unfortunate. And I've since learned that no matter how long you've been working, no matter how many projects you've done, you can still lose money if you don't follow the fundamentals. So needless to say, losing $300,000 plus almost $150,000 worth of development time by my team has been very, very instrumental on how we plan for future projects. And we have learned a lot on the loss. We plan to make all our future projects not only successful, but we plan to learn from where we lost money, why we lost money, and we hope to educate other people and obviously educate our own team that what not to do. And we will share those experiences with other people. So there's 3 main takeaways in this podcast. Number 1 is education. The importance of college education and the experiences you have throughout life are instrumental in your business success. The second is the gratitude we feel towards our family, in my case, my father, my mother, my wife, and of course, the most important one is the Lord. Without the Lord's blessings and my family's backing, we would not be where we are today. So I'm very thankful to the Lord and to my father and to my mother and to my ex-wife. And the third thing I believe is instrumental in success, not just in business, but in life, is delayed gratification. If you want to succeed overnight, or someone tells you, do this, and you're going to be successful in a week or 2 weeks or a year, and honestly, run away. Because success comes slowly, but it comes. If you keep up the hard work and you do all the other things right, you will get to where you want to get to. But you got to be patient. Instead of a year, it might take you 5 years. It might take you 6 years. If you need $500,000 to start a certain business and you don't have $500,000, well, how are you going to start that business? And please don't let anybody tell you, oh, just work hard. It doesn't make you successful automatically. You have to work hard for a certain amount of time, not just work hard for 3 days or 3 weeks. You might have to work hard and be consistent at working hard for 10 years. And then you might have that $500,000 or whatever you need. And then you could maybe start that venture. Not everybody can start a venture right away. If you don't have the capital, you can't start it. So I want to emphasize the value of being patient and the value of thinking long term. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's podcast. Next week, we'll have another podcast talking about role of sustainability in development. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Comment below which one of the 3 takeaways were your favorite.
Salim Development Group.